thanks for the warm welcome at least. It's quite a nice weather today in Belgium. I'm happy to be here, and thanks for joining in this late stage over here. So my name is Roy van Krimpen. Indeed, I came here from Amsterdam, based in Amsterdam, but working mostly remotely for Binance. Binance is a crypto exchange. Just out of curiosity, who here has heard of Binance? Can you please raise one hand? All right, that's like almost everyone. Is everyone a Binance user? Who has a Binance account right now? Binance account in 2021? Just a few. 2020? 2019? 2018? 2017? 2016? We didn't exist in 2016 yet. We went live in 2017, but let's continue with the further origin of crypto payments, because today we will give a quick overview on crypto payments. Most of everyone is familiar with the staggering all-time high in 2021 for the entire crypto market. There was a big promise on paying with crypto, lots of utility, innovation, and so on. But in 2021, we in fact saw quite a bit of speculation. So the market rose to a 3 trillion, and then later on crashed back down in approximately a $1 trillion market that we currently sit in. We generally try to value stocks and investments based on the innovation and the usage and the profits and the revenue. The increased usage of crypto wasn't really represented in the price. The same trend didn't really occur there. So it was quite a speculative market. But what led to this extremely high, all-time high of 2021? It's all due to the blockchain technology. Blockchain technology was started already way before the Bitcoin white paper itself. So in 1991, it was already referred in papers as an idea. Then the Merkle trees were included, making it a bit more scalable and usable. But only in 2004, the actual problem of double spending was solved by Hal Finley. So he described a solution called reusable proof of work. And just about 4 years later, the white paper came out, the Bitcoin white paper explaining Bitcoin with proof of work. In the white paper, they would argue that it is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. A purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another party. Sounds quite promising. This was written in 2008. The chain went live in 2009, but it took 1.5 years before the actual first payment happened. So on May 22 is what we commonly refer to as Pizza Day, Bitcoin Pizza Day. This was the first verified payment with Bitcoin. Some might argue that there was one payment preceding the Bitcoin Pizza Day payment, which was someone offering to buy a JPEG, a picture, digital image, for Bitcoin. It was never confirmed by the person if he actually purchased this, but about 2 months after offering this online, there was an on-chain transaction of the same amount. So it might be that it is not the actual first payment, but the first verified one. And what happened was in May 22, a person bought 2 large pepperoni pizzas for about 10,000 Bitcoin. Back then it was about $40 in total. Currently it sits at where about $300 million, so quite an increase since that moment. But Bitcoin, is it actually used for payments? That is something that many people would argue. People see it as an investment class. It is a medium of exchange, and it is mainly now referred to as a store of value, a digital gold. Because there are a few disadvantages of paying with Bitcoin in general. On-chain transactions are relatively slow. It's not easy, or you cannot wait more than a few seconds in a store when you try to purchase something. So that's one of the main concerns. And then for smaller transactions, let's say you buy a can of soda for $1, it's quite hard or it's quite visible, the gas fees that you would pay over that transaction. So therefore, store of value is the most commonly referred to utility for Bitcoin as of now. However, a new innovation came up, which is the Lightning Network. I'm just curious, whoever heard of the Lightning Network before? Can you please raise one hand? Okay, still quite a lot. Whoever did perform a Lightning transaction themselves? Yeah, a bit lower. So the Lightning Network, it's still relatively new. The number of nodes is still quite small. For me personally, I do see a big community in Amsterdam, so I might be a bit biased towards it. In Amsterdam, we have Satoshi Radio, for instance. They are quite bullish and teaching everyone how to become a Lightning node operator. But to summarize it, it's a second layer that operates on top of the Bitcoin network. So it enables faster payments, but also for lower cost, because the payments are not settled on-chain. What does this look like? On the bottom, you can see the Bitcoin blockchain as is. So those are the on-chain blocks. You will have the transactions there, but then the Lightning Network is the layer 2 operating on top of the standard network. What they do is the nodes in this Lightning Network, they will transact with each other before making an on-chain transaction. So the nodes can transact from one node all the way to the connected node on the other end. They can do that multiple times, but they only settle in a later stage on the Bitcoin blockchain itself. So they pay a lower amount of gas fees, and they can settle instantly, making it more usable as a payment, more usable for payments in general. So what are the benefits of the Lightning Network? The Lightning Network transactions are processed off-chain, making transaction fees significantly lower than the layer 1 transaction fees. The transactions can be settled instantly, so way faster. You do not need to wait for the new block. And one of these advantages lead also big countries or small countries, but big transaction networks in El Salvador to be built on this predominantly. There are some companies integrating the Lightning Network in El Salvador, making it quite easy to go there with your own wallet, digital wallet, scan the QR code in store, and transfer a few sats to the other person. In terms of usage, this chart is slightly outdated, but you do see a significant increase in both the volume and the transactions of Lightning Network within the Lightning Network. But if you look at the total amounts, it's talking about monthly transaction volume of 800,000, adding up to about $30 million in total. Compared to the $3 trillion all-time high, it's still almost an insignificant number. How so? Well, people do not really like to pay with Bitcoin yet, or with the Lightning Network. There are a few disadvantages. Of course, we have the volatility of Bitcoin. Looking at the world economy, everyone still thinks in their native fiat currency. So if you want to spend something in sats or in Bitcoin, high chance that you will still think about the denomination in either euro or USD when you spend that. It has limited acceptance, so people do need to set up their own their own wallet and their own device to ask for a Lightning payment. So this acceptance rate, it needs to increase. The more merchants it accept, the more people can pay with it as well. If you can pay everywhere with your PIN card, why would you bother in even asking to pay with the Lightning Network, right? Then the regulatory concerns. There are some general regulatory concerns when it comes to crypto. Those are quite evident. But the Lightning Network adds also potentially an extra layer of privacy. And then there are some new concerns or uncertainties right now in how much of this privacy would be allowed in the longer term. A lot of regulation or laws state that do not even state something on privacy coins specifically, but they do require transaction monitoring. And then it really depends on what is your definition of transaction monitoring. There are different degrees based on different coins on how much you can verify on-chain. This leads to uncertainty on the regulatory front. Apart from that, there are security risks. Everyone will be doing self-custody, so the store can set up their own wallet and ask for a Lightning Network transaction. But that comes with security risks. People need to be educated on how to safely use it, which is quite hard to do if you look at all the many exploits within the crypto industry. Then the user experience. For the ones that did do a Lightning transaction for the first time, they will know that setting up the node requires quite a lot of knowledge on how it works. Actually paying with it requires already quite an in-depth knowledge on how to pay with it, and even receiving requires this as well. So the user experience is not as easy and plug-as-play as traditional finance has made it. We in the Netherlands have, for instance, an app called Tikkie. It's a payment request. All banks are doing payment requests these days. You just forward the link, it goes to your banking app, you press your PIN code or your banking login details, and it pays automatically. It's quite easy, but that's because people already know how to use it and they have the education. And the irreversibility of transactions. It's both a pro and a con. It decreases chargeback cost, but what happens if a fraud occurred or if you have been scammed? There's no security there anymore. Once the transaction happens, it stays permanent. So there are a few alternatives, and a lot of them are also rising. Many people want to pay with stablecoins instead of any other crypto assets due to the least or less volatility and easier comprehensibility on what the price actually is that you pay. Apart from that, we see a new trend. I'm just curious in the crowd, who is quite positive regarding CBDCs? A small bit. Who's quite negative towards CBDCs? Yeah. No, it makes sense. So the crypto community in general doesn't favor CBDCs as they compare it with cryptocurrencies itself. But in terms of payments, it does come close to stablecoin payments, but then facilitated and owned by governments, of course. So it's the digital version of fiat money, quite clear, and it has the same fast payment opportunities as we have right now with the stablecoins, actually. We are trying to add a few alternatives to paying with, for instance, Lightning Network of on-chain transactions as well. On the Binance ecosystem, we have the exchange, which is the main part. The exchange is the core business model of Binance, but apart from that, we are trying to improve the space and innovate the entire blockchain ecosystem wherever possible. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to build bridges between traditional finance and the blockchain industry. Some bridges are quite evident, so it's fiat on-ramping, right? How do you get your money on an exchange without any fiat on-ramping? But payments is a very crucial utility, in my opinion, for cryptocurrencies. And as an exchange, we can add to that and facilitate that as well. So we have two main products that we use for it. One is the Binance Card. It's a collaboration with Visa. It's basically a Binance debit Visa card. You can top off your Binance account with, for instance, Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies. And then you can top it on your Visa debit card, go to the store, make the payment, an automatic transaction, a conversion will happen in the back end. Your Bitcoin will be converted into euro, and the store merchant will receive euro. Surely it's not the adoption that many crypto lovers would like to see, but it is one of the easy bridges between the current traditional economy and the blockchain industry. So you are still able to virtually spend your Bitcoins, you can save in your Bitcoin and then spend the euro in store. Binance Pay is a bit more crypto native. So what happens there is within the Binance platform, you can make transactions but then off-chain. So you can still transfer your native Bitcoin to either your friend or someone that you know within Binance through their link. It's quite easy to do. You press the link, you press the amount, and the money transfers instantly for 0 fees there as well. To make it more interesting, we have merchants, so stores basically, that integrate Binance Pay as a payment system. Currently, it's only crypto to crypto, so you can transfer your BUSD, USDT, or BTC from your own shop to a web shop, for instance. We've integrated, or this Binance Pay product started in 2021. It's quite a new product. In the first year, there were about 1,000 stores that integrated Binance Pay as a payment option. Right now, or 2022, it was about 9,000. Currently, we sit shortly over 10,000 stores. It's a small and humble beginning, but the trend is quite clear. And we hope to continue this because on the retail side, we do see a huge amount of interest. 22 million people versus the only 9,000 merchants, have used it to transact with each other and send each other crypto funds on the Binance platform. This resulted in about a almost $50 billion transaction volume through Binance Pay. So what we hope to see, looking at the Bitcoin vision initially, payments with crypto is great, but there are some disadvantages, and we do need to either innovate and educate the users for the innovation to really prosper. But in the meantime, there are many options to build bridges between traditional finance and the crypto industry. So that was the key message. If you want to learn more about either Bitcoin Lightning Network or Binance in general, you can go to Binance Academy. We have many articles explaining many of these subjects. Thank you.